Whilst we're doing Simran, just a when we're doing Simran, we're going to keep our back straight, eyes closed. And we're going to focus on our voice saying Vaheguru. I'm going to really try to listen to ourselves saying Vaheguru. Our mind is going to wander around. Our mind is going to take our focus away from ourselves saying Vaheguru, but we're going to keep on trying to bring that focus back again and again if we need to. Just keep on bringing that focus back and keep on chanting Vaheguru. So we're going to begin. Vaheguru, 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 Vaheguru. मैं नाही कछ हो नाही किछ आहे न मोरा अवसर लज्जा राख ले हो सदना जन तोरा दंडौत बंधन अनक बार सर्व कला समरथ डोलन ते राखो प्रभु नानक दे कर हाथ डोलन ते राखो प्रभु नानक दे कर हाथ वाहेगुरु वाहेगुरु वाहे ka khalsa, Vaheguru ji ki fateh. Sangat ji, thank you so much for joining in on the Simran. I think apna kaam kar liya hona. We can go back. That was just beautiful. Thank you so much. It just felt so amazing just doing Simran in the form of Sad Sangat, in the presence of the King of Kings, Tan Tan Shri Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj. Sangat Ji, we're very, very, very blessed. We're very blessed to be here in the sanctuary of the King of Kings, Tan Tan Shri Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj. And Sangat Ji, we made it to the month of Pado now. The month of Pado is from mid-August to mid-September. And this month is known for its dark, gloomy skies, really heavy rainfall, and really stormy weather, to the point that there are cities and villages currently in Punjab that are being flooded, to the point that people have nowhere to live anymore because their homes have been flooded, to the point that people have become homeless. That's what's happening externally in the month of Pado. But the month of Pado is also reflecting our internal state of being. It's also the weather, the dark, gloomy, stormy weather is reflecting how we're feeling on the inside. And how we're feeling on the inside is we're feeling lost. We're feeling lost. There's an emotional turmoil that is within us. And that emotional turmoil is resulting in this restlessness that is within us. Our mind is not able to stay still even for a second. Our mind is just wandering around. It's distracted. It's not even able to stay still. It's moving from one thought to another, and that's what it keeps on doing. It keeps on jumping from one thought to another, to the point that we're overthinking, to the point that some of us may not even be able to sleep at night properly because our mind is overthinking. It's just running and running and running and not able to stop. Not able to find even a second of that stillness. Sangat Ji, in the month of Pado, in the dark, rainy, stormy weather, symbolizes the chaos that is within us. The skies are gloomy because we don't have directionality in life. It feels like we're just walking around in circles. It just feels like we're just going round and round in circles, wandering aimlessly. We're not really taking progressive steps towards a destination. It just feels like we're just going round and round in circles. We have a general purpose that Gurbani tells us. In Rehra Sahib, we just heard today, Maharaj is saying, Pai parapat mano gobind milan ki eh teri bariya, that we've been given this precious human form for what? To tune in with the vibration that has created this whole universe, to realize that we're not this body, we're not our mind, we're not our past traumas and mistakes, we're not our achievements, we're not our titles, we're none of those things. Who are we then? We're the light of God. That's what we're here to realize. That's what Gurbani is telling us. That's who we truly are. We have that general purpose in mind, but truth be told, deep inside it just feels a bit far-fetched. What do we need to do in our day-to-day life to get to that big goal? What are we doing in our day-to-day life? Are we wandering around aimlessly? We might be someone that has traveled across the world to find meaning in life, but we came back empty-handed. We came back still feeling empty inside, still have that void within us that hasn't been filled yet. We're looking for peace. We're looking for stability. We're looking for permanent happiness in a temporary world. If we ask Guru Granth Sahib Ji, if we ask our Guru, where have we gone wrong? What are we doing? Why are we not able to find stability and peace? Why are we not able to find that permanent happiness, that bliss? Our Guru will tell us straight. Guru Granth Sahib Ji will tell us, Sab kish kar mein hai, bahar nahi, bahar tola so param pulahi. They're saying everything is within us. Everything that we need is right within us. All we need to do is, through Simran, we need to get into the deeper levels of our mind to find that stillness, to find that peace, to find that stability. Because if we're looking for it outside, bahar tola so param pulahi, we're looking for these things outside, but they're not outside. And what are we doing? We're wandering around. We're lost. We don't know what we're doing. We don't know where we're going in life. Why are we feeling this way? Why is there an emotional turmoil within us? What's going on? Guru Arjan Desai Ji, they will tell us straight up in the Bani of Barah Maha Manjh for the month of Pado, which is what we're here to discuss today. Maharaj are telling us straight up why we're feeling this way. And they're saying, Padvai param pulaniya dujja laga het. Simply put, Maharaj is saying we're feeling this way, we're feeling lost because we're living our life in doubts. We're living our life in duality. What does that mean? Maharaj is saying, Padvai param pulaniya. Padvai is referring to the month of Pado, but it has another meaning which we'll talk about in a few minutes. Padvai param pulaniya. Param means doubts. Pulaniya means to forget. What have we forgotten? We've forgotten our root. We've forgotten our source. We've forgotten who we truly are. And who we truly are is, we're not this body, we're not our mind, we're not our past mistakes and traumas or titles, achievements, we're none of these things. We are the light of God. That's who we truly are, but we've forgotten. So let's think about it this way. If I ask you, I'm going to just pick a person now. If I ask you, Dilraj Singh, because you're just sitting right here. If I ask you how much of what I've already said and how much of what I'm going to say in the next half an hour are you actually going to remember? If I ask you tomorrow, what did you learn from this katha? How much of it are you actually going to retain? Very little. Very little. So that's just being real. That's good. Very little. This is why we read Gurbani. This is why we do Simran. Because we forget. And it's so easy to forget. That's why we do Nit name. Nit means every day, daily. And name is the discipline, is a routine that we do every single day. And what is that discipline? What is that routine? We read Gurbani. For some of us, that discipline is coming to the Gurdwara Sahib, getting the darshan of our Guru, listening to Hukamnama Sahib at Amrit Vela. Trust me, there's a lot of Sangha that comes. At Amrit Vela, they're here and they're listening to Nityanem and they're listening to the Hukamnama Sahib. That can be your routine. But we do it daily because we forget. And it's really easy to forget. That's why we read Nityanem, we do sermon, because it pulls us back into the remembrance of who we truly are again and again and again. And that's why we need to do it daily. Maharaj is saying, Padvai param pulaniya, dujja laga het. Dujja here is referring to other things, worldly things. Laga het means we're attached to. What are we attached to? We're attached to worldly things. Instead of being attached to Gurbani, instead of being attached to Simran, instead of being attached to Seva, in a positive way obviously, we're attached to this world. Dujja laga het. We're attached to this world. Instead of removing the layers of ego and to get to the root, so think about it. For those that have ever cut onions here, in your life, you would know there's too many layers of an onion, and to get to the root you have to really remove all the layers. Just like that, instead of removing the layers of ego, and what are those layers of ego? Instead of removing those layers of ego, we're attached to those layers instead. And what are those layers? Our titles, our achievements, our status in society, our professional roles, all of these things that we use to define who we are, because we're so attached to them, because without them we feel that I don't know who I am. Then who am I if I'm not these things? That's what we're actually attached to. Dujja laga het. Maharaj is saying that we're feeling an emotional turmoil within us. We're feeling restlessness within us because we're not listening to our Guru. Dujja laga het. We're listening to something else. What is that dujja? What is that something else? If we're not listening to Gurbani, we're listening to something else. We're definitely listening to something. If it's not Gurbani, we're listening to the Panch Chor. We're listening to the five vices. Kaam, Krodh, Lobh, Moh, Ahankar. Desires, anger, lust, attachment, egotistical pride. That's what we're listening to if we're not listening to our Guru. We're doing Simran of something. Either we're doing Simran of the world or we're doing Simran of Vaheguru. Simran just means remembrance. It just means we're trying to remember who we are. And these Panch Chor, they're just energies. That's all they are. They just need to feed off of anger. Whenever we get angry, they need something to survive off of, just like we eat food. We need to live, and that's how we survive. That's how these Panch Chor survive. Every time we get angry, every time we feel worldly desires, every time we have attachment to materialistic things, to the people of this world. They're just feeding off of that energy, and they're amplifying that energy within us. So if you've noticed, if you ever get angry and you're in an argument, the anger is never going to come down. The anger is going to get amplified. It's because these Panchachot are feeding off of that anger, and that's what they're using to survive as well. They're here to survive as well, and they're using that energy to survive. That's what's happening. In the month of Pado, Maharaj are telling us that we've forgotten who we are because Padoe. So we're going to look into a different meaning of Pado now. Padoe, if you break it down, Doe means do. It means our mind is split into two. Mandit do hisse ho jane. Our mind is split into two. What does that mean? We're living in duality. What does living in duality mean? It means our mind is divided because there's a pull from the world, worldly desires, and then there's also a pull from God. Vahiguru's pulling us as well, and the world is pulling us as well. And we're just going back and forth. Sometimes we're really motivated to do seva, come into the Sangat, do sermon, read Gurbani, maybe read extra Gurbani. That's because our God is pulling us. And other days we just want to sit on the couch, watch Netflix, maybe go out shopping, do those things because the world is pulling us as well. We're just in this internal tug of war. That's all we're doing, going back and forth, back and forth. We're trying to balance Sikhi with our relationships, with our work, and with our health. We're trying to balance all of these things. We're juggling a lot in our day-to-day life, but not really getting anywhere. Truth be told, balancing isn't the solution. The solution is merging. What does that mean? We're not meant to juggle between world and Sikhi. We were meant to bring Gurbani to each and every single part of our world. We weren't meant to juggle between world and Sikhi. We were meant to bring Gurbani into each and every single corner, each and every single part of our world. Then when we look at life in that perspective, then even our daily responsibilities, whatever we do daily, even if it's washing dishes, hoovering, maybe cleaning the car, any of these responsibilities, they become seva. That's what it means to bring Gurbani into each and every part of our world. Every task that we do, every responsibility we have, it becomes seva. That's how we can get to that big goal. Otherwise, let's say we don't even have access to a Gurdwara Sahib. There's so many people out there that don't have access to a Gurdwara Sahib. How are they going to do seva if seva is limited to the Gurdwara Sahib? We have to broaden our horizon. We have to broaden our soch. We have to think outside the box now. We're in the modern era as well. It's great if we can do seva at the Gurdwara Sahib. That's the best, obviously. Who doesn't want to be with their Guru? I want to be with my Guru. But if you don't have access to that, that doesn't mean that you cannot do seva. Feeding the homeless is doing seva. Giving your blood to others for the bloodline, that's doing seva as well. Helping your parents, washing the dishes, that's doing seva. There's so many different things that we can do that we don't think that are seva, but actually are seva. There's a Sakhi that puts this into perspective quite beautifully. There was a very poor man who had worn out clothes. He was so poor that he had dirty and worn out clothes. And what he would do every day is he would go out in the jungles, he would cut some wood, bring it back into town, and he would sell it for some money. And whatever money he made, he would have enough food just to get by for the day. If he didn't work, he didn't have any food on the table. So he did this for a very long time, for many, many, many years. He was living in a sort of a hand-to-mouth sort of situation. And there was a fakir who was living in a hut. Fakir just means a spiritual, saintly person who was living in a hut. And he was observing this poor man go back and forth, go to the jungles, come back, bring wood, sell it, and have some food. He was looking at him for so many years, and he felt pity for him. He thought to himself, look at this guy. God has blessed him with such a precious human body, and he's stuck in this cycle. Just to get 2 rotis worth of food on his table, he's working so hard, going into the jungles, cutting up wood. At the end of the day, he would come back and sell that wood just to have enough money to get by for the day. He's stuck in this cycle. His life is lacking meaning. He thought to himself, the fakir thought to himself, what if, as he's earning an honest living, he remembers the one that gave him this precious body to begin with. He remembers the one that gave him this energy within himself to work hard, to go outside and earn money. If he connects with that one that has given him this energy to earn an honest living, then his life will be worthwhile. His life will not go to waste. This is very powerful, Sangaji. Because most of us are stuck in this rat race as well. We have this 9 to 5 routine. School is just around the corner. You guys are going to get back into that routine again. And that's all we're doing. We're stuck in this rat race as well. Are we doing anything that is meaningful in our day-to-day life? Are we working slowly towards that big purpose of our life? Gobind milan ki eh teri bariya? Or are we just letting these days just go by and wasted? Are we wasting our time and energy? Or are we using it productively, progressively to work towards our goal? Because we can have remembrance of God. Remember, we can bring Gurbani to our world. We can have remembrance of Vaheguru whilst we're eating, whilst we're walking, whilst we're commuting, whilst we're doing daily chores. We can remember Vaheguru in all of those times. It doesn't have to be limited to a particular time in the day. It's great if we can take out time, but try to bring Vaheguru in your life throughout the day. If we spend our days in gratitude, that is also remembering Vaheguru. Then there will be purpose to our day because we'll feel more conscious of the present moment. Then when we live gratefully, then we become mindful, which gives meaning to each and every simplest routines that we might have. And the beauty of gratitude is that it shifts our perspective from feeling that we're lacking something inside, that we're chasing after something that's missing, to feeling content, to feeling happy. That's the power of gratitude, being grateful to the one that has given us everything that we have, being grateful for the one that has given us these breaths to even breathe, to be alive. That energy that is within us, that is powering us, is also powering the whole universe. Just being grateful for everything that we've been given, that is also remembrance of Vaheguru. And we can just, do this at any point in our day. When we do this, then our days are not wasted. Our life is just not going by without any meaning. Our life becomes meaningful. Each and every hour, each and every minute, each and every moment of our life becomes meaningful. So the fakir, he saw this really poor man do all of this hard work, and he thought to himself, he's stuck in this cycle and his life is just being wasted. He's been doing this for so many years. His life is being wasted. If he knows, if someone can tell him that also remember God as you're earning an honest living, his life will become worthwhile. So the fakir, he calls the poor man. He said, come here. And he said, I want you to look further within your journey. He said, I want you to go 5 miles further within your journey. Go see what you find. And the poor man, he took it quite literally. He said, okay. And he respected the fakir, obviously. And he said, okay, I'll do this. So the next day he went 5 miles further into his journey, went deeper into the jungle. And what did he find? He found expensive wood. He cut the wood, he brought it back into the town, and he got a bit more money than he normally would. And he did this for some time. And the fakir, he saw him once again, another day. He said, I asked you to go in further. Did you go in further? He said, go a bit more deeper now. And the poor man, he said, okay. He said, because last time when I went to the jungle, I found expensive wood and I made a bit more money. He was so helpful, I'm going to listen to him again. So he went a little bit more deeper into the jungle. What does he find this time? He finds sandalwood trees. And sandalwood, for many reasons, is very expensive because of its beautiful fragrance. He cuts those sandalwood trees, he brings it back to the town, and over time he becomes one of the richest men in town. Builds a really nice mahal, really nice house. And the fakir is going around town one day and he sees this guy who was once poor sitting in the porch. And he goes up to him, he said, I asked you to look deeper within yourself. And the poor man who was once poor, He said, मैं होर कितना आगे जाऊँ, I've found sandalwood now. I'm rich, I'm sorted. I don't need to go in any further. I'm rich now. And the fakir, he said, you fool. I wasn't saying to go further into the jungle. I was saying to go further within yourself. Go deep within yourself. ਜਿਹੜਾ ਪਰਮਾਤਮਾ ਵਿੱਚ ਬੈਠਾ ਨਾ ਤੇਰੇ, ਉਹਨੂੰ ਢੂੰਡੋ. Find that God that is within you. Find that energy. Find your root where you came from. Look for your true self. Remove these layers of ego and look within yourself. That's what I was asking you to do. I was telling you that you're stuck in this rat race just to bring food to your table. You were going back and forth. Yes, you were earning an honest living, but your life didn't have any meaning. I was asking you to find meaning in life, because true richness isn't in these materialistic things. No matter how rich you get, true richness, true wealth is within us. Sab kuch kar mein hai. Maharaj have said it to us already. They said sab kuch kar mein hai. The true wealth, the true richness is within us. Bahar nahi. It's not outside, everything is within. So this Sakhi reminds us of where we are in life. Is our day, every single day, meaningful, or is it just being wasted? Are we just wasting these breaths, or are we actually using these breaths to remember the one, to remember who we are, to remember our source? Maharaj say, Lakh sigar banaya karaj nahi ket. Maharaj are really so amazing. The explanation of this is just mind-blowing. Maharaj is saying, Lakh sigar, lakh meaning hundreds of thousands. Sigar means ornaments. Banaya here means to wear in this context. Karaj nahi ket. We can hear Maharaj is saying we may build our image with thousands of ornaments, like our titles, our achievements, our status in society, our identity, our roles as professionals, our roles as parents, as teachers, as students. All of these are ornaments that we're putting on ourselves to build up our ego. Lakh sigar banaya, karaj nahi ket. But none of these serve a true purpose. We're just building up our ego more and more, when in reality we were here to break it down. Instead of breaking it down and getting to the root, we're actually building it up more and more. And what happens then? Then we think to ourselves, because we're attached to our titles, then we think to ourselves, if we're not these things, if I'm not a teacher, if I'm not a student, if I'm not a parent, if I'm not a mother or a father, then who am I? Who here has ever in your life asked that question, who am I? Kade puchya apne aap nu? Anyone, you can raise your hand, don't be shy. Kade puchya apne aap nu, main hai kaun? Who am I? Main karan ki aaya? What am I here to do? Ask yourself that question. That question itself will give meaning to your life. Because what we're doing at the moment is we're using these titles, these roles, these achievements to define ourselves. And by doing that, we're limiting our awareness. And we're using these ornaments, so to speak, to decorate our ego, when we need to actually be removing them, detaching from these titles, these achievements, these roles that we're using to decorate our ego. We need to remove them now to get to the core of our being, to realize who we truly are. That's what Simran is. Simran is to remember who we are. Hor ki hai gaya? Asi hai kaun? Asi hai kaun? Simran ki hai gaya? Kinu yaad kar rahe hain? Asi hai kaun? Asi ha Vaheguru. ਤਾਈਓ ਤਾਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਆ, ਤਾਂ ਕਿ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਚੱਲੇ ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਭੁੱਲੇ ਹੋਏ ਆ, ਤੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਚੱਲੇ ਕਿ ਅਸਲ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਅਸੀਂ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਆ, ਅਸੀਂ ਭੁੱਲ ਚੁੱਕੇ ਆ. To remind ourselves again and again and again and again that we're Vaheguru, we say Vaheguru, Vaheguru, Vaheguru. There's so many religious people out there in this world practicing different faiths. Why are they not successful? Why is it that we haven't realized our true self yet? Why is it that we're not connected to God yet? What's going on? When we do anything with our heart, with one-mindedness, with the right intentions, with full faith in our Guru, that becomes fruitful. But if we're living in duality, we're double-minded. Then our whole life can go by just doing empty actions. What does that mean? Any action that is done without the remembrance of the one that gave us this human body, without the remembrance of that energy that has created this whole universe, any action that is done without that remembrance of God is empty actions. They're meaningless. We're wasting our life. We're wasting our time here. What is Maharaj saying? Gurbani ki kendi hai. Maharaj kende japaho ta eko nama. Maharaj kende je tu kuch karna hi hai na zindagi de vich, if you want to do something, if you want to talk, if you want to chat something, je kuch karna hi hai na zindagi de vich, te eh karo, japo ta eko nama, parmatma da naam te aao. If you want to chat something, if you want to remember something, then remember the one where you came from. Remember your source. Avar nirafal kama. If you do anything else without the remembrance of Vaheguru, obviously, we have to go out, we have to work, we have to survive in this world, we have to have a roof above our head, we have to have food on our table, we have to drink fresh water, we have to have these things, and we want to have these things, there's nothing wrong with that. But whilst we're doing those things, remember the one that has given us those things. Remember Vaheguru Japaho ta eko nama. Anchor your consciousness in Nam, the vibration that is permeating in this whole universe. See the work of God in everything and everyone, in everything that's around you. When you do that, when you live your life in gratitude, you're giving meaning to your life. If we are not carrying the awareness of God in our thoughts, in our words, in our work, in our interactions with each other, then those actions, they are empty, they're fruitless. If we're carrying ego, if we're carrying jealousy, anger, when we interact with each other, then our actions are empty, their actions are fruitless. Let's ask Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji what that means. Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji, they were asked by their teacher Gopal Panda to learn alphabets. And guess what our Guru said? Take a wild guess. What did our Guru say? They were asked to learn a bunch of alphabets by their teacher Gopal Panda. What did our Guru say? Our Guru said, no, I'm not learning these letters. Can you imagine saying no to your teacher? That's a bit scary for me. I've never said no to my teacher in my life. Here, Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji, they said, no, I'm not going to learn these letters. Why? Gopal Panda said, why? They said, I need you to give me context. I can't just memorize random letters for the sake of it. I need to know the meaning behind each and every letter. I need to have context. And Gopal Panda said, I don't know what they mean. Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji said, I'll tell you what they mean. So they wrote the Bani of Patti Likhi, where they gave meaning to each and every single letter, each and every single alphabet, and they connected it to God. When we remember Vaheguru in everything we do, we're giving meaning to our life. Anything else, avar nirafal kama. Everything else is fruitless, meaningless. We're like that buffalo that has been blindfolded, tied by a rope around a wheel, going round and round the wheel, and it's thinking to itself, man, I must have walked so much. Must have, gone through a really long journey. I've been walking for such a long time. I must be getting closer to my destination. But at the end of the day, when that blindfold is removed, what happens? What does he see? He sees himself to be exactly where he began with. And he thinks to himself, what a waste. I've put in so much of my energy, so much of my time walking around just to be exactly where I was to begin with. Are we doing the same thing? Are we wasting our time and energy going round and round in this cycle of negativity? Being upset about what others are saying about us, being upset about others judging us, being upset about just being sad about how others are talking to us? Are we wasting our energy and our time? Are we like that buffalo just going round and round in circles in the cycle of negativity, not able to break away? Are we like that buffalo? Because truth be told, those people that are putting us down, those people that are judging us, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਸੱਸਾ ਵੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਪਤਾ ਸਿਮਰਨ ਦਾ. You might be someone that's preaching Simran to everybody, but if our words are harsh, if we're putting other people down, then we're not really doing Simran. Because when we do Simran, we're remembering the one, when we're remembering Vaheguru. What are the qualities of Vaheguru? Sweet speech. ਜੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਸੱਚੀ ਚ ਸਿਮਰਨ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ ਤੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਮੁਖ ਤੇ ਬਿਟਰਨੈਸ ਹੈਗੀ ਆ, ਸਾਡੇ ਮੁਖ ਤੇ ਕੜਵੇ ਸ਼ਬਦ ਹੈਗੇ ਨੇ, ਫਿਰ ਅਸੀਂ ਸਿਮਰਨ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ? ਨਹੀਂ, ਅਸੀਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਸਿਮਰਨ. I'm sorry to say. If our life is not being transformed, if we don't have sweet speech, we're not doing simran. Why? Gurbani tells us exactly why. Maharaj say, Mit bolada ji har sajjan swami mora. My dear, my beloved, my friend has sweet speech. Mit bolada ji. Ho sambal thakki ji. O kade na bola kora. I've tried and tried. I've tested him again and again, challenged him again and again, but he has never spoken harshly to me ever. Kora bol na jana. There's no bitter word in his vocabulary. Onu kore shabd pata hi nahi. If we're talking harshly, if we're being rude to others, if we're breaking someone's heart, then in those moments we're not remembering God. In those moments, we're influenced by the Panch Chod, the 5 vices. Those are the ones that we're listening to really. But what does it mean to do Simran? It means that as we do Simran, our actions start to reflect the qualities of God. And what are those qualities? Compassion. Not able to see anyone suffering, so you want to help them. Humility, kindness. That's what happens when we do Simran. And if we are becoming more kind, more compassionate, more humble, that means we're actually doing Simran. Maharaj are telling us, they're saying that our whole life can go by just doing empty actions. Actions that don't have meaning. Let's not waste our time. Let's not waste our breath. And remember the one in our day-to-day life. Maharaj say, Jit din deh binasasi tit vela kehasan pret. That day, when this body comes to an end, binasasi tit vela, that moment, at that time, kehasan, we're said to be pret. Pret here has been translated to ghost, but in this context, it also means death. So we're declared to be dead. The moment that source of life leaves our body, we're declared to be dead. And Maharaj are reminding us that when we die, when this body comes to an end, all the titles, the roles, the identities that are attached to this body won't go with us. They're going to stay here. We will leave them behind, and death can come at any moment. No one will go with us. Not our family, not our friends, not our pets. Nobody will go with us. Nobody will be able to help us in that last moment. Maharaj is saying, Pakad chalayan doot jam kise na deni pet. They're saying pakad means grab. Chalayan means to take away. Doot jam is referring to this inescapable forces of death. This inner karmic mechanism that has been built in the law of nature by God themselves. Kisena, to no one. Deni means to give or reveal. Pet means warning. So when death comes, it will come suddenly. There will be no warning. There will be no negotiation. There will be no snooze on the alarm clock. Give me 5 minutes. Give me 10 minutes. It's not going to happen. It's just going to come, and we're going to be in shock, and we're going to be taken away. The question here is, are we wasting our breaths? Are we wasting our time doing empty actions without the awareness of God? Do we have awareness of God in our thoughts? Do we have the awareness of God in our words, the words we speak with each other? Are we talking nicely with each other? Are we talking in a loving way with each other? Or are we talking harshly with each other? Is the awareness of God in the work that we do? Is the awareness of God there when we interact with each other? Do we say, when we say Fateh to each other, I see that light of God within you, that light of God that has powered this millions and millions of suns? I see that within you. I see Vaheguru within you when we say Fateh to each other. That's what it really means to say Fateh. When we say Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh, we're saying, I see that Vaheguru within you. The one that has given energy, the one that is lighting up thousands and suns and moons, this whole universe. I see that creator within you. That creator is right before me. That's what it means to say Fateh. That's what it means to have awareness of God in everything that we do. Even our Fateh can be that remembrance of God. It doesn't have to be Why Khalsa Why Fateh. I've heard that a lot here, honestly. It's hilarious. Why Khalsa Why Fateh Hogi Hunta. ਇਹ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਉਹ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਵਾਹਿ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿ ਫਤਿਹ ਹੋ ਗਈ ਹੁਣ ਤਾਂ it's like why ਖਾਲਸਾ why ਫਤਿਹ why are we doing this but it's a good thing why are we doing this is because we're doing this to remember the God that is within you the God that is within me the God that is everywhere that's why we're doing this Maharaj is saying chhad khadote khina mahe jinsyo laga het chhad means to leave khadote means in an instant immediately khina mahe khina means in a moment jinsyo laga het means those whom we are emotionally attached to our loved ones the moment the soul leaves the body game is over even our loved ones can't do anything about it even our loved ones will leave us in an instant cremate the body move on over time that's the truth yes, they love us, they'll remember us, but our need was there up till this body was alive. The moment this body is dead, attachment is gone. That need is gone. Hath maroda tan kape siyaho hoa set. What happens when we're dying? Maharaj is telling us what happens to us. Hath maroda. Our hands, they get twisted. That life is being sucked out of our body. That source of energy that is keeping us alive is being sucked out. And what's happening in these moments? We're feeling deep regret. We're feeling helplessness. And in this moment, we're having a realization that our whole life has just gone by in empty actions. Our whole life has gone by meaningless. Our life has gone by mostly being upset with others, being upset with ourselves, thinking how others have hurt us, or thinking or being angry with ourselves, or being angry with other people, self-critical, feeling worthless, feeling negative. All of these things are just wasting our time and energy. Is that what we're going to do? Rarely do we spend our time being positive, being in the present moment, connecting to God. Most of our time is just spent being negative. But we're wasting our time, we're wasting our life. Being on the deathbed, this truth is realized, but we can't do anything about it. Time is over. Sada time nikal gaya hun. There's nothing we can do. We don't have the power to change anything. There's no snooze button anymore. That's it. Game over. Maharaj, they go on to say, Syaho hoa set. Syaho hoa set means our face turns color. So you know when we get shocked or we become pale, here Maharaj is saying Syaho is referring to black because when we die our blood gets dried to the point that our body turns black. But this is symbolically representing ego, that attachment that was within us. Hoa set is our body turning pale, body's changing color as life is being sucked out of us, and that is symbolically meaning that we're feeling emptiness inside. We're feeling powerless. And this is the last moment of reflection that we're having, that we have wasted our time being arrogant. We wasted our time being negative. We wasted our time being angry. We wasted our time being egoistic. Our time is done now. Maharaj say, Jeha bija so luna, karma sandada khet. We reap what we sow, easily put. Karma sandada khet, this is how karma works. Karmi apo apani ke neda ke dur. We read that every day. If we do good deeds, karmi apo apani ke neda, then we get closer to that realization of who we are. If we do bad deeds, ke neda ke dur, then we're getting dur. We're going farther and farther away from that realization of who we truly are. And we know that we're the light of God, but we've forgotten. Every thought, every feeling, every action carries a vibrational frequency. So, Jeha bija solona isn't describing a punishment system. It's describing a universal law where the quality of energy you emit is the same quality of energy that you're receiving back into your awareness. What goes around comes around. And every thought, every feeling, every action carries this particular vibrational frequency, and scientists have now shown that we're just a body of sound. What happens when we're vibrating at a lower frequency? What does that look like? We're angry, we're fearful, we're negative, we have attachment, we're egoistic, we're arrogant, we have pride. That's what happens when we're vibrating at low frequencies. And what happens? We experience life through the distorted lens. And what is that? we feel negative. We get reactive over the smallest things. We don't have that calmness within ourselves. We become reactive. But when our consciousness is vibrating at higher frequencies, and what is that? Naam, compassion, humility, Gurbani, then our inner and outer world are reflecting peace. They're reflecting stability. They're reflecting clarity. We have clarity in life. We have harmony in life. So imagine, just like a musical note or tuning fork, we have vibrational frequencies. If we're vibrating at lower frequencies in anger, with lust, desires, fear, then our lens is distorted. How we experience life is going to be negative. We're going to be reactive. But if we're vibrating at higher frequencies in Gurbani, Naam, Kirtan, then we're going to have that peace, that stability that we're looking for to begin with. We'll find that inside of us. Does that make sense? Yes? Good. So here, karam, here's not referring to any mystical, punishment that's being handed down by Jamdut. It's just a natural consequence of the vibrational state that we've cultivated ourselves. What goes around comes around. Maharaj say, Nanak Prabh Saranagati, Charan Bahut Prabh Det. That how do we free ourselves from doubts, from duality? How do we do that? By coming into the century of our true Guru, who tells us what we can do. Our Guru is like the boat that ferries us across this ocean of doubts, of duality. And our Guru then gives us the anchor of Gurbani. And what is that anchor? Maharaj say, Eho manua khinana tikya bohorangi dah dis chal chal hadde. That this mind doesn't stay still even for an instant. It's distracted. It's jumping from one thought to another. It's wandering around aimlessly in 10 different directions. Gur pura paya vadapagi har mantra diya man thade. That when we come into the century of our true Guru, what does our Guru do? Our Guru gives us that mantra. And what is that mantra? Vaheguru. And what happens when we say Vaheguru? What happens when we read Gurbani? Man thade. Our mind becomes peaceful. We have stability inside. We have that permanent happiness. We start to experience that within us. No matter what situation comes at that point, je koi gusse bhi ho raha hai na sade naal, we have that ability, we have that space to stay calm in those moments and not react. We have the power to stay calm and handle those situations in a logical way. We don't let emotions sway us and then fir ta pange pehne hain. Then the relationships that get bitter, and then we have all sorts of situations come up that I'm not going to talk about. You already know that. So what is Naam Simran then? We're going to look at Simran from a different perspective. If we're vibrating at different frequencies all the time, then what is Naam Simran? Naam Simran is like a frequency corrector. That's why we do Simran. It's not just repetition. It's energetic attunement. Who here plays instruments? You play instruments, you have to tune the instrument to get it into the right tune, right? Just like that, that's what's happening with our mind. Our mind goes out of tune, it misaligns. To bring it back into tune, we have to tune it with something. And what is that something? It's Simran, remembrance of who we are. That's what it does. It brings our mind back into tune with the creation and the creator, brings us back into tune with that energy that is powering us, powering the whole universe. And what happens when we do Simran? Then our subconscious mind begins to release the old karmic patterns. We break free from our old habits, the cycle of negativity that was holding us back. And we start to realize slowly, it's not going to happen right away, by the way. It's not like magic. You have to really work through it. Just like you get educated to get a nice job, it takes years of practice. Just like that, it takes time. But slowly over time, we realize that we're the light of God. And we break free. And not just that, Simran changes the whole physiology of our brain. Did you know that? Scientists have now admitted, neuroscientists, they're saying that when you meditate, it doesn't just increase focus, it changes the whole way your brain is wired. It promotes neuroplasticity. It means the way that each brain cell is talking to each other, it builds different connections, different networks now. We're changing our whole way of thinking when we're doing Simran. It's removing all the old ways that we were thinking, breaking away from that pattern and building new patterns, building new connections that are positive, that are helpful to us. Simran brings our misaligned mind that was out of tune back into tune with the divine energy. Our whole physiology changes to the point that we break free from the patterns of reactions of habits that were bad for us, and we transform ourselves into who we truly were to begin with, which is that we're the light of God. We realize that now. And Maharaj, they say, at the end, they say, Se paadoi nark na paiye hai, gur rakhan wala het. When we come into the sanctuary of our Guru, they protect us and they give us the jugti, the technique, which is Gurbani, to free ourselves from doubts and duality. Because truth be told, us living our life in doubts and duality is like living in narak, is living in hell. But our Guru frees us from that. So in summary, there's 5 main points that were discussed in this katha, and then we're going to end it. 1, bring Gurbani to each and every part of your world. It doesn't have to be, Sikhi and world doesn't have to be separate. They can be together. When we do that, then each and every daily responsibility we have becomes seva. Number 2, don't let any of your actions go empty. Don't do any actions without the remembrance of God. Whatever we're doing, bring awareness of God into our thoughts, into our words, into our work, into our interactions with each other. And these actions are fruitful. They become fruitful because then the qualities of God, humility, compassion, kindness, they're reflected in our actions. That's how we know we're on the right path. Number 3, we reap what we sow. The quality of our energy that we're emitting is the same quality that we're returning into our awareness. What goes around comes around. So whatever we're going to sow, whatever seeds we're sowing now is what we're going to reap at the end. So let's do something worthwhile, do good deeds so that we don't have to live our life in regret. And number 4, consciousness. When we're vibrating at lower consciousness, our consciousness is vibrating at lower frequency, like the Panchachor, then our life, the experience of our life is very negative. But when our consciousness is vibrating at higher frequencies, Kirtan, Katha, Gurbani, Naam Simran, then our life is very positive. Our life is meaningful. And number 5, Naam Simran is like a frequency corrector. It brings our mind that has been out of tune back into tune. And our whole physiology changes to the point that we break free from our old patterns of reactions of habits that were making our life negative, and we transform into our true self, which is we're the light of God. So Sangaji, this is the message for the month of Pado. And please forgive me as I've made several mistakes. And thank you so much honestly, thank you so much to everybody that has been part of this journey, because without you, there is no this. We cannot do the seva without you. Without your love, without your support, we cannot be here. And I really mean it from the bottom of my heart. We cannot do this without you. So please keep on supporting us. Please keep on coming. And please keep on learning. And that's what we're here to do. We're here to learn from each other. So together, in hand, we can make our journey towards our true self. Vaheguru. Deo sajana sisaniya Jehovah Sahib se umail. Vaheguru ji ka khalsa, Vaheguru ji ki fateh. I see Vaheguru within you. I see myself within you. Vaheguru.